Trump is increasingly surrounded by people leaving. They're leaving me all alone. Staffers are leaving. Loyalists are being discarded. Republicans are heading for the exits. Voters are abandoning Donald Trump. And to say that this is a chaotic second administration is a very serious understatement. Now, we already talked about the latest departure. It's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. She's leaving at the end of the month. She wants to spend more time with her kids. And Trump reacted exactly as one would expect. We looked at this clip before. I'll play it again just to include it here. Trump sort of like, how could it be that she prefers her kids to me?
Is Caroline Leavitt replaceable?
No, she's not. She really isn't. She's standing right over there, and she's done a great job.
But you have somebody in mind?
She likes her children more than she likes Trump. I'm very concerned about that.
It's a lot to juggle, right? And you said you support that going back. Is there somebody you have in mind that you'd like to see up at the podium to take over?
You. How about you? She could do the job. I think so. What do you think, Caroline? I like it. I've always liked you. That's why I'm doing this. I don't do this that often. I get off.
All right. So we looked at that earlier. Trump talks about how he gets off and then he comes off and then the entire thing. But the point is, how could someone be more devoted to anybody other than me? And Caroline Leavitt has been loyal. She's defended, as I said, Trump's false claims. She attacks journalists. She cleans up lies, all of that different stuff. But she is not the one that is really notable in terms of her abandonment of Donald Trump. Assuming we believe her story, she chose her kids over standing at a lectern defending Donald Trump every day. That's confusing to Trump. But there's a whole bunch of other problems for Trump in terms of abandonment. Deputy National Security Advisor Andy Baker is leaving. He is, you might say, well, that's not really a very prominent position. He has been very influential in Donald Trump's foreign policy. According to Brookings, 53% of the administration's senior A-team positions have already turned over during Trump's first year back in office. That happened very quietly, but it is a big signal about the chaos in this administration. Now, some of those people resigned, some were fired, some were pushed out, some departures were kind of predictable. We should not pretend that every single person left because they suddenly were like, oh my God, I can't work for Trump. There's a whole bunch of different reasons, but the cumulative picture is extraordinary. Turnover is kind of built into Trump's management system. The demand is absolute loyalty. Meanwhile, Trump creates constant chaos. He publicly humiliates his appointees, and then he replaces them when they become inconvenient. And so people are at the same time indispensable and completely disposable. That is how Donald Trump sees everybody. That's how Trump sees his voters. Once they can't vote for him anymore, or there's not a clear donation ask, they're kind of useless to him. And these exits go way beyond the White House. Look at what is happening in the House of Representatives. 40 House Republicans are not coming back next term. Now, it's a mix. Some are retiring. Some are running for different offices. It's not 40 Republicans go, I can never work when Trump is president. It's a party with a difficult midterm, a really narrow House majority, and a lot of people are leaving and saying, we cannot be involved in this anymore, or I will not be involved in it anymore. And then we get to the voters. There is a new Reuters Ipsos poll, which finds Trump approval is at 35%. Another poll has him at 30%. Even Republican approval is down into the 70s, which is high, but that's a meaningful decline from a party that has treated support for Trump as completely mandatory. Now, people are leaving Trump in different ways. Staffers, they leave the building. Republican officials leave Congress. Independent voters leave the coalition and maybe stay home or join Democrats. And even some Republicans now are going, yeah, I don't think that I can get behind this. So Trump will, of course, continue claiming everything's going beautifully. This is the most successful everything ever. Anybody who leaves will be either irrelevant or disloyal or weak, or we actually fired them. But as the exits accumulate, you can't really defend it. Caroline Leavitt is leaving. Senior officials are cycling through. Republicans are leaving Washington. Voters are checking out. And Trump's demand for a political movement based entirely around himself has really kind of flopped. And eventually he is discovering that there's a problem with that arrangement. And the problem is everybody leaves and there's only one person left to blame, and it's Donald Trump. Now, this has led to Donald Trump's sort of risky idea of making these midterms about himself. He's holding this midterm convention where it's going to be all about Trump, Trump, Trump. Trump's not even on the ballot. Is Trump a buoy or an anchor pulling them down from the surface if they are running in especially moderate, but not even moderate, even in some conservative areas? I don't know that Trump's name all over this midterm is a good thing for them, but it only will matter if we are able to take advantage of it. If everybody gets out there and votes, if people get engaged in the elections that they find to be important for them. So yes, people are heading for the exits. Yes, there's a bunch of different reasons why. All of that is completely true. But at the end of the day, we also need to consider what it's going to take to seize power back. Because if a bunch of Republicans leave and they're replaced with a bunch of other Republicans who are 2% less loyal to Trump or whatever, that is not really going to change the dynamics of the next 2 years. What's going to change the dynamics of the next 2 years is taking back some power. And so this is an opportunity. We're going to be working to get out the boat. We've got 80 something days left for this. I'm glad that you're here. We've got to do it. We need to set our path to 2028 through smooth waters rather than through rough waters. And the way we do that is getting these horrible people out of power. Thanks for watching. Check out another one of our videos and make sure to subscribe so YouTube keeps our content in your feed. And if you prefer audio, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or Apple.